Hundreds of officers from multiple agencies are searching for a man accused of shooting a Daytona Beach police officer in the head. It is a massive manhunt that is now underway for Othal Wallace. He is believed to be driving a gray 2016 Honda HR-V. There's a California license plate on the back. It's 7TN X532. Right now, a $100,000 reward is being offered for any information that leads to an arrest. The officer, only 26 years old, with the department for 3 years, was rushed into surgery overnight. They say that he has made some improvement, but has a long way to go. His name has not been released, but we know his mom is there in the hospital room with him. The Daytona Beach police chief says he is fighting for his life in grave condition. Now, the agency did release some body camera video just hours ago. It shows how quickly this escalated in about 30 seconds and the moments that led up to that shot to the head. So Mark Lehman is live in Daytona Beach. And Mark, the police chief says they will not stop searching for what he called a coward. He also said the only part of this that gives him some hope is all of the agencies responding and how their heart is in this.
Yes, certainly every officer is pulling for this officer's recovery, and this manhunt is extensive. Just within the last few minutes, we learned the U.S. Marshal's Office is now involved in the search for that suspect. Now, here behind me is where the shooting happened. That officer was shot in the parking lot behind this apartment building. And we've learned that investigators searched in an apartment where the family of that suspect lives, finding firearms and body armor. And this comes as we're learning more about what led up to the gunfire. The Daytona Beach police releasing that body camera video of the encounter. They say one of their officers was investigating a suspicious incident on Kingston Avenue. The video shows the officer speaking with the suspect, identified as Othal Wallace, and asking him if he lived at the apartment complex. He also asked the suspect if he would sit back down in his car. It's important to note the officer remained calm the entire time. Wallace, meanwhile, says, "Don't do this," and started walking away. That's when police say Wallace shot the officer in the head and fled the scene. As we come back out here live this morning, again, that extensive search continues for Othal Wallace. A $100,000 reward is being offered for any information leading to his arrest. He is to be considered armed and dangerous, and anyone who sees him should call 911 immediately. For now, reporting live in Daytona Beach, Mark Lehman, Channel 4, the local station.
Mark, a quick question for you. We know that there was some time between those officers responded to the location where that officer was shot. Do we have any idea where Othal might have been going and what direction? I know they said they got some leads, which they're not disclosing at this time.
Yes, that's right. They do tell us they do have some leads, but they're not telling us exactly what those leads are. And at this point, we don't know which direction he might have fled, if he's still in Daytona Beach or Volusia County, or if he perhaps could have went outside of the county. We know that when the officer was shot, he was alone, and the other officers didn't realize what had happened until they started calling that officer, and he didn't respond after several minutes. Those officers arrived on scene and found him lying on the ground with that gunshot wound.
All right, Mark, big story. We are going to continue to follow it. Thank you so much for your update in that area. So 500 law enforcement personnel, as we've been telling you, from all across the region were called out to assist in this investigation.
And News4JAX reporter Brittany Muller is live in Daytona Beach as well. Brittany, the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office, we know, is one of them.
Jen, Mel, they said that they sent out their helicopter to assist in the search, looking for Wallace here in Volusia County. And on our way here to the county, we didn't see any road closures on I-4 or Interstate 95. We did see some deputies and patrol cars out on the roadways. And now we're here in Daytona Beach in front of the apartment complex, where you just heard from our sister station. We're also on Kingston Avenue, and this is where the officer was shot in the head behind the apartment complex. Now, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement reports more than 6,600 incidents of assaults committed against law enforcement officers in 2018. Nearly a quarter of those incidents resulted in officers being injured. Last night's shooting of a 29-year-old man injuring a Daytona Beach officer is the latest in a series of shootings involving law enforcement officers in Volusia County. Earlier this month, 2 foster kids were involved in a shootout with deputies after running away from a children's home, then broke into a home and found guns. A 14-year-old girl was shot and survived. No deputies were hurt. And 2 weeks ago, investigators say an armed man ambushed deputies in DeBary. He was shot and survived, but again, in this case, no deputies were hurt. According to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, police say nearly a quarter of reported incidents of assault against law enforcement officers happened when officers were responding to disturbances. About 82% of their hands, fists, or feet were used as a weapon, and in 66 incidents, a gun was used. And back out here live in Daytona Beach, where a multi-agency search is currently underway, looking for 29-year-old Othel Wallace, who is said to have shot a cop in the head. If you know anything, call police immediately. We will keep you updated as we're out here. Of course, this is a developing story, so on air and online, news4jax.com is where you can expect updates. Reporting live this morning from Volusia County, Brittany Muller, Channel 4, the local station.